financial problems, elder law, tax problems, business matters, divorce, personal injury, bankruptcy, your life, your reality. Life is complicated. There is the law and there is reality. Welcome to Law and Reality, sponsored by THAV GROSS. Now here's your host, Ken Gross.
Welcome to this segment of Law and Reality. Today's topic is unintended consequences. Jenny Lingl.
Hi, Ken. Good to be here.
Pat Simasco, who's going to lead us through unintended consequences.
Thank you.
And Brian Small.
Always full of unintended consequences.
And of course not least. All right. So, first of all, unintended consequences gave rise to me of a famous quote, which was, "No good deed goes unpunished." My father used to always say that to me. So I Googled it to find out who came up with that. And the person was Claire Booth Luce. She was born April of 1903, died in 1987. I think she was involved in the arts and drama. There's a lot of, on Brainy Quotes, she has a lot of quotes, and I found one other one that I thought I'd share. "Because I am a woman, I must make unusual efforts to succeed. If I fail, no one will say she doesn't have what it takes. They will say women do not have what it takes." I think it's very apropos for what's going on in the current environment. But let's take some unintended consequences. I'll lay out the facts, and then Pat, let's discuss them.
Sure.
As a group. Bessie, that's the mom, needs a caregiver. She's 86, failing health. The family does not want to put Bessie in a nursing home. They hire Martha, a sweet lady down the street. They're paying $10 per hour cash for her to help her out. Doing a pretty good job. Down the road, mom's situation deteriorates a little bit. It looks like she does need to go to the nursing home, and we got to try, and she's come to Pat, and Pat's trying to qualify her for Medicaid,
right,
because the cost of nursing home is how much?
$9,000 a month.
And what's the average stay?
About 3 years.
Okay, and
lots of money.
And Bessie doesn't have that kind of cash.
And that's everybody's the worst decision in the world is to have to put mom in the nursing home. So they really try everything in their power to keep mom out. But the reality is, all the kids are working, and the son lives in California, and the other grandkids are all in college, and there isn't the ability to take care of mom at home on a day-to-day basis. So they have to look for that other person to come on into the house. If you hire the company, it's $30 an hour. If you hire the nice lady down the street who's wonderful and she comes in for $10 an hour, and everybody, it's the same thing. Every nice little lady gets $10 an hour. And the question is, why aren't you giving her more? Because she's not paying taxes and she doesn't want to claim it on her income.
Right,
and
so
that's where the issue
is there a problem with that?
Well, there's a couple of big problems. Is number one, for Medicaid right now, they've got really strict on paying people to take care of mom. And there has to be a written caregiver agreement that this Martha is going to be taking care of mom, and these are her job duties. And there's not a Martha in the world that wants to sign that paper.
Why not?
Wait. They
Because
have
she
to have a
doesn't-
written caregiver agreement? Nobody knows this.
Yeah, Medicaid.
Is this just Medicaid trying to keep people from getting on Medicaid?
So
Yeah.
well, if you
That's
don't
it.
have the caregiver agreement, what's the big deal?
Medicaid says it's a gift, and the kids or Martha would have to give all the money back.
What if
Well, Martha's not giving the money
Hell
back.
no,
She's the
she's
lady who
not.
lives down the street.
That's the trouble. So Medicaid says it's a gift, and we're going to call it a divestment, and we're not going to pay for the nursing home
So
for
let's
so
say
many
we
years.
paid Martha $400, or actually we paid her $800. She practically lived there a week, $40,000 or $96,000. We paid her $125,000 over the last 3 years.
Medicaid would say you have to return the $125,000, or we're not going to pay Medicaid for 10, 11, 12 months. 18 months.
And Bessie doesn't have the $125,000.
Right. So the kids
So
would
what
have
does
to come.
Bessie do?
The kids would, Bessie would move into the grandson's basement.
This is a big problem.
Yeah, and the
Wait,
other thing is,
can't they just?
Bessie
I mean,
needs to keep Martha, keep paying her
for
$10
the
an hour.
Yeah.
purposes of this, couldn't they just issue Martha a 1099 because they did pay her wages? The fact that and retroactively fix it.
so let me see where Medicaid came from. In the good old days, when you didn't have to do that, we're going to pay you $30 an hour. We're going to pay you $30, and we're going to pay you $30 an hour to take care of mom. And then mom spent all of her money, but she paid her son $30 an hour, and now he's squirreling away the money. So the idea for Medicaid is they want to make it as a legitimate
An arm's length transaction.
Yeah, it's an arm's length transaction. So we need a doctor's note that says she needs the care, and it's under a written agreement.
Well, and I think Martha needs to realize too, because I know a lot, it comes up too with nannies, don't want to sign the agreements. Are you
Right.
employee? Are you independent contractor? That just because you don't get a 1099 doesn't
You owe the
mean.
money. Now the next thing Medicaid's been doing is show us where Martha's been paying the tax on it, and she's not.
So if after the fact you can't do those things, that divestment's going to happen.
Right.
So let's say you are aware of this because you've watched the show and
Right.
you're in that situation and they've called you and you've kind of guided them through what
Right.
to do. What should I go to Martha and say, listen, Martha, I got to give you a 1099-C. You have to pay taxes on it. You have to sign a caregiver agreement. I'll give you $15
Right.
an hour so that you'll net 10.
If she's that good, $10 an hour is a bargain. So you pay her a little bit more, and then you do it right. She signs the paper.
So it doesn't
Yeah.
hurt her as
Yeah.
long as she's willing to do it. If she's
Right.
not willing to do it, you got to find another Martha.
That's the trouble. Now, even if she does do it, let's say she is doing, the problem isn't over, because what happens if Martha drops Bessie getting out of the bathtub?
And Martha doesn't have any insurance.
Or the other is worse, is what happens if Martha slips on the wet floor and hurts her back? Isn't that a workers' comp issue?
Well, yeah, Bessie's got to have insurance.
That's one of the big issues that
Nobody
pop up.
carries workers' comp
No,
insurance on these
no.
employers. Actually, Martha needs to carry the
Yeah.
insurance because she's self-employed.
Yeah, that's a trouble.
Yeah, but the difference, of course, is that you're taking a risk, but you need to have a Martha to help, and you might not be able to afford the company that costs
Well,
$30 an hour.
See, the thing though, you're absolutely right. So the thing may be independent living place, assisted living place, something like that, that's actually less expensive.
Before you hire Martha and go into long-term, you need to talk
Yeah.
to you and understand
Yeah.
the rules. The consequences are astronomical.
Yeah.
We come
Unintended
back.
consequences.
Unintended consequences. We come back from the break, we're going to do another one.
Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're THAV Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV Gross.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV Gross today, 888-235-HELP.
You're all set to retire. You have your home paid off, money in the bank, and sound investments. But if you're not careful, all the things that you work so hard for can disappear. At Samasco Financial, we'll help you prevent that. We go beyond ordinary asset management. We'll safeguard everything that you have by creating a plan made specifically for you. How much can you afford to lose? Nothing. Protect the people that you love and the things that you have. Call Samasco Financial today.
You can't work. You have to deal with pain and stress. Worse yet, our system for applying for disability benefits seeks to deny you the benefits you're entitled. Jeff Kirschner is an expert in obtaining disability and workers' compensation benefits for his clients. You need to call Jeff before you apply or after you're denied to get the benefits you deserve. 888-235-HELP. 888-235-HELP. If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
THAV Gross specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're THAV Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
Here's the next topic of unintended consequences. Mom and Dad lost a bunch of money in the stock market when it dipped. That's never an intended consequence. But they're thinking about what to do going forward. They're considering buying annuities rather than leaving their money in the stock market. But you hear good things about annuities and bad things about annuities, probably on an equal amount. So they're sitting there saying, is an annuity something I should look at, or is an annuity something that I should avoid?
Right. Are they good or bad?
Are they good or bad?
Depends. And the answer is, do you sell annuities?
I do not.
Then they're horrible.
And if I do sell annuities,
They're the greatest thing in the world.
so you need to find someone that
You need
doesn't
an
sell
independent
anything.
person.
Yes.
You need someone that can do both. You really need someone that can do both and say, annuities are the greatest thing in the world when the market crashes. And when the market goes back up, they're not as good because you typically don't make as much money in there. So the idea is, what is your risk? What is your goal? If you have everything in the stock market and the market's crashing and you need the money, market's horrible. It's
Our
horrible.
old famous line that we
Don't
always
lose
talk
money
about
in
is,
retirement.
how much can you afford to lose?
And if the answer is none, you shouldn't be in the market.
If you ask a 40-year-old how much can you afford to lose,
Yeah.
he's going to say none.
Yeah.
If you ask a 50-year-old how much you can afford,
Yeah.
he's going to say none. If you ask a 65-year-old how much you can afford to lose, he's going to look at you like, hey, you're insane.
Right.
None.
See, the thing is, though, no one wants to lose money. No one ever wants to lose money. But the reality is this. If a 40-year-old person has all the money in the stock market and it dips, and he pulls the money out and puts it into the bank account,
Bad move.
bad move, because he's not going to have it to go back up.
He locks in his loss.
Yeah, and then when it goes back up, all of his friends, Brian said, I made 30% in the market last year. So he says, okay, I'm going to take it out of the bank account and put it back in the
Then it goes
market,
down
and then a
again.
week later it goes down. So it's not you. If you're going to be in the market, you have to
stay.
ride it out. If the market goes down, you have to ride it out. And if you can't ride it out, don't be in the market. You have to be in some other place.
So
there
if you're
does come a
70,
point-
you may not be able to write
Yeah,
it
there
out.
does come a point where you can't write it out because you
can't-
need that money
That's the
to live
problem.
on.
If you had $300,000 in the stock market in your 401k, and now you're retired in 2007, you got the rest of your life plan, and the market goes from 300,000 to 180, and
Big
you
problem.
need that money to pay your mortgage because you don't have a pension anymore, and you're spending it and spending and spending, you don't have to go back up again.
So
Right?
in that case, is an annuity a viable
It's an
alternative?
absolutely option.
So what does
There's
it
three-
do? What, yeah,
So there's three new. First of all, at a seminar yesterday, it said don't buy annuity because when you die, it goes away. That's the wrong kind of annuity. Social Security and pension are annuities. Pays until you die. That's not what we're talking about. There's a variable annuity that can go up and down in the market, and there's some guarantees. There's a fixed annuity that's like a glorified CD that's issued through an insurance company. It says we're going to pay you 2% or 3% interest for this many years. Or there's an indexed annuity, which we use a lot of, that number one, it protects the principal. So if you put $300,000 in, the principal's guaranteed. Then
it can't go below
it can't
300?
below 300,000. If the market goes up, the growth is locked in under certain years, like every 1 year or every 2 years or every 3 years. So it goes from 300 to 305. 305 becomes your new principal. So if the market crashes the next day, you have 305, right? So it has the growth potential of the market, but you never get as much growth as the market, right? Because if you got to get all the growth, you have to get the losses.
What risks go to that?
It's the it's timing. You have to commit to a period of time with the company. Like a CD, a 1-year CD pays less than a 3-year CD. So you have to give the money to the company for a certain number of years, 5 years, 7 years,
So if
10
you want
years.
to pull out, it costs.
You can typically pull out a certain percentage. The average is 10% per year.
so, but that's giving you your distribution. You get a distribution out of these annuities,
If it's
right?
an IRA, If it's not, so it's you have your asset amount in the annuity. Let's say it's $300,000. The company says you can pull out 10% per year. Okay,
So
if you
plus
pull out more
30
than
grand a year.
10%, there's a penalty to do so.
So you need to put this together in your senior planning budget-wise, so that the amount that you're pulling out is what you need to cover your
Right.
expenses. And you need to
Exactly.
kind of commit to that plan.
Yeah, so we look at two buckets. We have the risk-based bucket that can go up and down, and we have the protected bucket that the principal's guaranteed, then it could go up. So if the market's through the roof and you want to buy the car, pull it out of that bucket. If the market crashes, you can't pull out when it's
sit,
down,
you
you
hold.
pull it out of the other bucket.
So you're
Sit.
covering both sides of the
Yeah.
equation.
So instead of it being asset allocation, stocks and bonds, it's called product allocation. Parts in stocks and bonds, and parts in a product with an insurance company that guarantees that
So does
principal.
this tend to come to the conclusion that the annuity is a better way to go as you get older, because you don't want to run the risk of riding the market?
That's what a lot of people look at those.
And if you're younger and you want it, it's a way of, if you balance between your two portfolios, so you're hedging your risk,
Yeah.
because you have too much anxiety
Yeah.
about the risk of the market
I
going down.
use annuities in my retirement plan because the greatest part of an annuity is it will pay you. If you want to turn on an income stream, it will pay you until you die. So I don't have a pension. I'm using the
So
annuity.
that's your pension.
Yeah, that's going to be my private
So when it
pension.
pays you to your die at death, is it then gone?
Whatever's left over goes to my wife. Whatever's left over goes to my kids. So if I spend it all, if I live to 150 years old, they paid me all my money back, and now the company's using their money to pay me back. If I die early, whatever's left over goes to the kids.
So the 35-year-old who gets approached to do everything into an annuity, that's probably not the right direction.
Probably not.
But the 65 and 70-year-old who's saying, let's balance your portfolio, what it comes down to is there's a use for the
Right,
annuity,
right.
but it has to fit the right circumstance.
Yeah, we can explain that after the break too, a little bit about that.
All right, we'll take a break. We come back, you can explain it to us.
Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call THAV GROSS.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call THAV GROSS. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're THAV Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV GROSS.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV GROSS today, 888-235-HELP.
A lifetime of hard work. If you don't have the right plan in place, you can lose your home, your savings, and more. And you didn't come this far to lose everything. Samasco Law wants you to know that laws are changing. Today, the average cost of nursing home care is $85,000 a year. With proper planning, we can help protect your life savings and get you the Medicaid and nursing home benefits you deserve.
How much can you afford to lose? Call Samasco Law today.
Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're THAV Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
Time for announcements. Want to remind our viewers to listen to us Tuesdays 10 a.m. and Saturdays 7 a.m. for Law and Reality Live on the Praise Network, 93.5, 98.3, and 99.9 FM. And then on Saturdays, 11 o'clock a.m. for Law and Reality Here and Now on WMUZ AM 1200. Be sure and sign up for our free contest. Every month, free $50 Visa gift card, Law and Reality hat, and copy of Dump Your Debt. Just go to the Law and Reality website, click on the link to sign up, and you're in. We have seminars coming up. On Wednesday, September 26th, 6 to 7:30 p.m., September is the time for my debt to fall. We're going to go through all the methods we use to preserve future income for you and your family. Solutions using bankruptcy, solutions outside of bankruptcy. Jenny Lingl is going to participate and give us a special segment on how to resolve tax issues. Attendees get a free copy of my book, Dump Your Debt. All of our seminars are free. Sign up at thavgross.com, lawandreality.com, or do it the old-fashioned way and call 888-235-HELP. Then on Wednesday, October 17th, 6 to 7:30 p.m., we have a seminar called Estate Planning is Not an Option. We're going to go over all the elements of an estate plan, documents you must have while you're living, documents addressing issues after you pass away, how to address probate issues. Jeff Linden's going to join us along with Brian Small and myself. Attendees receive a $300 gold certificate off of the cost of an estate plan. Sign up at thavgross.com, lawandreality.com, or call 888-235-HELP. You can always come into THAV GROSS for a free consultation. You want to remember to do that. Go to the website, thavgross.com, lawandreality.com. You want to meet with Pat Simasko on elder law issues, Brian Small on estate planning issues, financial crisis issues, Jenny Lingl on tax issues, with me on business issues, Jeff Kirshner on disability and Social Security and workers' compensation claims. Just go to the website, sign up, and we'll call you back and schedule the appointment. Also, be sure and check out the free reports on the website. We have a great report on how to save your home from foreclosure. Pat Simasko has a Retiree's Guide to Social Security. And we also have a report on business formations, loans and grants for small businesses in Michigan. I want to thank our sponsors, THAV GROSS, Simasko Law, and Jeff Kirshner Law. Now back to the show.
Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call THAV GROSS.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call THAV GROSS. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
Nothing provokes panic and fear like the threat of a school shooting. Unfortunately, we've seen a sharp increase in students making copycat threats in order to gain notoriety. I'm Macomb County Prosecutor Eric Smith. Students, this behavior will not be tolerated. Felony charges will be brought against anyone who threatens the safety of our schools. Parents, please talk to your children and pass along this message. If you threaten our schools, it will cost you your future.
Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV GROSS.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV GROSS today, 888-235-HELP.
All right, so when do we use the annuities? Depending on age, what's the story?
Well,
what's the thought process?
Well, the idea is when you're starting to get to the point of retirement, accumulation while working is different than deaccumulation, pull money out in retirement. Pulling income out has to be a different strategy than
accumulating.
Yeah, because if you have a big market crash at the beginning of your retirement years and you're pulling money out, it will devastate you later on. The second part of it, though, is really interesting, and we see a lot of the married couples come in, and then all of a sudden, dad's passed away, and now mom's sitting there, and mom's 75, and she says, "What should we do?"
Yeah, here, right. Dad was the financial guy. He
Dad's
was
the
in
guy.
charge of everything. He made all the decisions, and he told mom and children nothing.
Right. And it's so
And he's
interesting,
gone.
as many
Or he's got dementia.
as many moms are coming in now that were in that role. Right, because dad was working,
took
mom
care of the
was
stuff. Yeah.
But what's interesting, let's pretend it's dad and he's going to die first. Dad watched everything, and he watched the markets, and he called this guy every day, and he watched it and watched it and watched it and watched it, and then he did great, and now he's dead. And mom is sitting there going, Dad did great. He did great. I'm going to do exactly what he did. I'm going to leave it exactly the way that he did. In the market, and in the market, in the market.
Up and down.
Yeah. And I said, well, Dad watched it every day.
Wait, the market's going up and down, and mom's crocheting.
Exactly.
Oh, what's that mean?
Yeah. So is it's not the same at that point. So a lot of times we have to talk to the dad and say, you need to set it up not for you need to set it up for her, because probably you're going to be passing away. So in those situations, the index annuity is a good fit, because no matter what happens, if the market crashes, you're not losing anything. You get the growth when the market goes up.
So dad can cover the risk for mom, because mom can't monitor the market and know when to sell and when to buy.
One of the key things, though, in this, and when you're headed into retirement, it's a good thing to sit down with someone like myself to look at your budget, because what I find is no one is prepared for retirement. When your income goes from $100,000 a year to $60,000 a year, you're not prepared for that $40,000 swing. Or it went from $200,000 to $80,000, because you don't live on as much when you're retired, because you have a fixed amount.
Yeah. How often do you find people coming out where, even though they've got retirement funds, they're carrying $60,000, $70,000 worth of credit card
Right
debt?
now, well, I'm going to tell you, the older generations, hardly ever. A very small percentage. And it's funny, they can have a $7,000 a month Social Security and pension and have zero money in the bank and a big credit card debt. And you have the little mom that makes $1,200 a month in Social Security for her whole life, and she has $1 million in the bank account. It's the savings, it's the ability to save. But the point that I wanted to make is that with the annuities, the negative it's a time commit, and you can only pull out so much money
per year.
So if they go to their broker and the broker doesn't sell them, they say, well, you don't want this. You don't want to tie your money up. You don't want to tie your money up, right, Mom? And Mom says, yeah. But then the reality is Mom hasn't pulled a nickel out of it for the last 30 years. Her big thing is, I want to protect the money. I want to protect it. And that's different than what the philosophy of a broker may be, which is I want to grow, grow, grow.
Yeah,
so that's why you need
he wants to sell, he wants to move it, he wants to flip it.
Well, that's their business. And that's why I love the question, what kind of car do you drive? What kind of car do you drive?
A Lincoln.
If I went to 50 Lincoln dealers, how many times would they talk about a Ford or a GM?
They won't.
Never. So that's the thing. If you're going to the wrong person to talk to,
so you need an independent.
You really need an independent person to talk to. What's best?
The most important thing that I see is this is an ignored topic by families, where they're saying, I just don't want to deal with it, and it's financial future. It's extremely important. So they can come in and talk to you on it anytime they want?
Yeah, the same question is asked of Jenny or Brian or me or you is, Ken, what do I do now? And the answer always is, boy, I wish I could have got you before it was too late. So setting up before it's too late is way better than trying to solve it later.
We just had a seminar last Wednesday, and they said, I wish I would have known you guys 10 years ago. We hear that all the time.
Or 10 days ago.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Have a great week, Pat. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back next week with Law and Reality. Thanks for tuning in.